The views and opinions of this podcast do not represent official sources.
Because of the extreme amount of bass, listeners' discretion is advised.
This show has been brought to you in part by Two Black Labs Audio. You are listening to A Week in Geekdom.
Welcome everybody to another exciting episode, another edition of A Week in Geekdom. I am your host, Emmanuel Menendez, and yes, welcome to a double episode, a spectacularly big-ass episode of A Week in Geekdom. As always, thank you for liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel, and of course, liking our videos. You can also like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter at A Week in Geekdom, or you can write to our email, that's aweekingeekdom@gmail.com. And yes, folks, welcome back. It's been a huge week in announcements, and I have condensed this episode as tight as possible. And I'm going to talk to you guys about New York Comic Con, some TV stuff, and of course, the big piece, we're going to talk some movie stuff. But first and foremost, let me remind you that in honor of Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, coming out in, practically a month and some days away, I decided to be generous and hand out our first ever giveaway here at A Week in Geekdom. We are super excited, and here's how it's gonna work. Our first ever giveaway, folks. Yes, we are super excited, and in honor of the games of ORAS, as we like to call them, I've decided to give away a shiny Gengar, which is currently in promotion at GameStop. But if you want an extra one, hey, we got it for you. A shiny Mega Gengar with its stone and everything. We'll give you the code for that. So what you have to do for that is really quite simple. At the end of the show, I'm going to give out the password for this. And it's going to be my favorite Pokemon. Out of 718 or 21 or whatever Pokemon, I am going to give out a password on my favorite one. The next step, I'm going to post a picture on Instagram with the shiny Gengar card. Not the code, but the photo of it. And you will have to like that page and say, hey, A Week in Geekdom, your favorite Pokemon is whatever I tell you at the end of the episode. So yeah, just head on over to our Instagram page, like the picture, and tell us the password that will be given out at the end of the episode. But yes, that is an awesome piece of news. We've never done anything like this. It's a fun little way to get you guys involved in what we like to do with social media and all that stuff. Because right now we don't have an actual website, so we decided to run things on a strictly social media-esque way. You know, we have our YouTube page and Facebook and Twitter, Instagram. There are other social media pages which we don't really use that much. We promise we will in soon. But until then, those are like the four main places you can go to find us. So yeah, at the end of the episode, I'll remind you guys again what to do. And hopefully the first one that gets it will get that code ASAP. Let's get started with the news, basically. And over the weekend, a 4-day weekend basically for nerds, New York Comic Con, I am so happy it beat out the attendance over at San Diego Comic Con. I much prefer the New York one. I haven't been to either one of those, but something about the New York one seems more appealing to me. But yeah, that was pretty awesome. More than 150,000 people showed up. It's awesome, folks. And as usual with the New York Comic Con, whereas San Diego focuses more on the glamour of Hollywood and all the movies and all that stuff, it was all about the comic books, folks. And I've got what, in my opinion, are the top 5 announcements that made us all glee with excitement. Starting with number 5. Finally, folks, cosmic events are back. Marvel recently announced the Black Vortex, involving all new X-Men and, of course, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Looking for some kinds of relic in the different quadrants of the universe. I don't know. And apparently this will lead into some major stuff hitting the fan. And some major players are going to come out and face this incoming threat along with the Guardians. So I'm really excited to see this new chapter in the cosmic side of Marvel. Number 4, folks. Keeping in line with the cosmic side, our number 4 awesome announcement at New York Comic Con. Guardians of the Galaxy is getting an animated series. That is just spectacular. Who would have thunk it? It's not been a year, just a couple months since the movie came out, and already these nobodies have become such popular characters, and I'm super happy about them. The animation looks solid. I really like the art style, especially on the poster for Guardians of the Galaxy. So yeah, we'll see. The series picks up where the movie left off, so I'm pretty interested in seeing the Skrulls fighting off with the Kree and everybody else. The Badooms, maybe. Hopefully they're in there. Who knows? Our third favorite announcement at Comic-Con, and we're going to go with Spider-Verse, and more specifically, Spider-Gwen. Recently out of Edge of Spider-Verse, issue number 2, is finally, after much acclaim and much petitioning from fans, will be getting a series of her own. That's awesome. That's exciting. And if you've not read Edge of Spider-Verse 2, you don't really need any setup for it. You can just pick it up and read it if you can find it at your shop. But man, is it great. It's a wonderful experiment in seeing what would happen if the tables were turned and Gwen became a member of the Spider family across the multiverse, and seeing Peter Parker, what happened to him in that universe. It's just a fantastic one-shot. Of course, she's going to be in Spider-Verse, but later on with her series, I really want to go in there and see what's going to happen, because I don't want to spoil the issue for you guys. But if you want to read something fresh, exciting, new, with vibrant art and great writing and just a fantastic sense of Marvelness, then yes, go ahead and watch or read Edge of Spider-Verse 2. But yeah, it's just awesome that we're getting a Spider-Gwen series. I don't know if it's going to be called Spider-Woman, because we are getting a Spider-Woman series, and Silk is also getting an ongoing series. So maybe it'll be Spider-Man Gwen Stacy or Spider-Gwen, whatever the name ends up being. We're pretty sure we're going to add this to our pull list. It's an awesome time for Spider fans. Our second favorite announcement. This doesn't exactly involve New York Comic Con, as it was announced later, but it's in the same vibe. Marvel is going ahead and relaunching, or what seems to be rebooting or restarting, several key events, and that teaser for Civil War has got me thinking that either we're getting an omnibus, or we're really getting a sequel, or something's up, or maybe it has something to do with the movie rumors, which I'll get to in a second. You know, aside from getting Civil War back, we really have to mention that Hawkeye Volume 2 is going to come out with Jeff Lemire. And that is just icing on the cake. It's a fantastic book. What Fraction and Aja did for Hawkeye is monumental, and really one of those quintessential current Marvel books that you can recommend to anybody, and almost everybody will love it in some shape or form. So that's awesome. 2 announcements that I really liked. That's our second favorite thing about this New York Comic Con. And of course the unusual side of things, like Archie meets Predator and all that stuff. That's pretty cool as well. But really it's that unknown factor that Marvel's bringing in, and basically Marvel really dominated the whole list, because this leads into our number 1 favorite announcement out of New York Comic Con. And yes, Secret Wars is coming back. That's awesome. This will be fresh out of Time Runs Out, which is currently in New Avengers and Avengers from Jonathan Hickman. I cannot wait. It looks to be Marvel's Flashpoint, if you will, or Crisis, or something, because we're going to get a diverse roster of alternate variations of characters against the current Marvel Now characters. I don't know what's going to happen, folks. I don't know who's going to win. Captain Falcon, or regular Captain America, or Superior Iron Man, or Miles Morales as Ultimate Spider-Man. I don't know. But speaking of Civil War coming back, could we be in the presence of maybe one-shots involving a remastering or a rebooting of these stories within this new time frame that's opening up. Maybe we're gonna get a multiverse out of this. I don't know. It's still too early to tell, but by the looks of it, it's going to be a fun, interesting ride. So yeah, speaking of New York Comic Con in general, it was basically all Marvel all the time. So many announcements, from movie stuff to animated series to comic book announcements. It was pretty fun. Unfortunately, the other companies, well, yes, they did deliver some really awesome stuff as well. To me, it seems Marvel really captivated and seized the moment with all these announcements. Those were our favorites, and I'm pretty sure you're pissed off because your favorite thing was not in there. And I completely agree. Speaking of things New York Comic Con, we're going to move on to TV news, and in TV news, we have our first look at Daredevil for the Marvel Netflix series. And a lot of people were confused, but yes, this is the proto suit before he's getting the actual Daredevil costume that we all know and love. So right off the bat, it's already a million times better than what we experienced back in 2003 with Ben Affleck's Daredevil movie, which unfortunately sucked. The director's cut is a million times better, but it still has its problems. If you were to watch it, I would highly recommend the director's cut. But yeah, already Cox's Daredevil is looking much better, and we cannot wait. May the 1st, I think, 2015, we're going to get the first season, hopefully, of more to come. Daredevil action on Netflix. Also, The Walking Dead premiered with like 17 million viewers. That's a lot of viewers, folks, with more zombie killing action. And yeah, a lot of stuff got blown up. I was surprised that Terminus lasted as long as it did. I was expecting it to go a little bit further, but judging from the trailers before the season premiered, you can already tell where some of these things are going. I'm excited to see Father Gabriel, and with that stinger scene at the end, or that Easter egg at the end of episode 1 of season 5, you know things are lining up to be more and more faithful to the comic book. And that has us pretty excited as well. Also, Flash and Arrow premiered, and wow, we had already seen Flash, we had already talked with you guys about it, but Arrow started off with a bang. Brandon Routh is amazing as Ray Palmer. Unfortunately, we no longer have a Black Canary at the moment. There was a Wildcat teaser cameo. What else? Diggle had a baby, and what looks to be Komodo is showing up on the second episode, so that's going to be pretty interesting, and my theory as to why we no longer have a Black Canary. Yeah, it's pretty hectic. In the movie news, I really wanted to talk to you guys about the possibility of a Marvel Cinematic Universe Civil War. Yes, folks, supposedly it's happening. Captain America 3 will supposedly feature Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man in it, and if we're going by the Winter Soldier, basically all the Cap movies are the stepping stones in the next evolution of the cinematic universe, if you will. While yes, the Avengers movie, all the trilogy basically will define how things go face to face, but it looks to be like an epic thing that's going to happen. And with the Civil War thing, I really want to mention a couple things that have me a little bothered by it. One, basically, we all really know who the Avengers are, except like Hulk and maybe Hawkeye. But then again, the government already knows who Hawkeye and Bruce Banner are. So really, you can't go with the Registration Act and taking off their masks and stuff. So it really has to be something else that's more monumental, maybe with contemporary issues like the NSA or privacy issues and all that stuff. Maybe that will be a catalyst. All the damage that the world has taken from the New York battle to London in Thor 2 to Iron Man 3 and now Winter Soldier, with Washington D.C. basically being a battleground, if you will. Not that many people died, but at the same time, you know, S.H.I.E.L.D. was destroyed, Hydra's on the loose, everything's chaotic. Now with Age of Ultron and the Avengers sequel, it looks to be like this robot peacekeeping force will fail horribly thanks to Ultron, and the world will probably start questioning superheroes, which could lead into some rough times for the Avengers. We have heard rumors that there's going to be a new team for the third installment. They're not all going to be in there, with possibly new members such as Falcon, maybe Moon Knight, I don't know, maybe a new Avengers or Secret Avengers will stem out of Age of Ultron. We just don't know enough yet. We will find out in a couple months when the movie premieres, but until then, the idea of a Marvel Cinematic Universe going to Civil War and either picking Team Cap or Team Iron Man, it's really appealing from a marketing standpoint, and I can just envision it already. I know fans are excited, we're excited, and it really lends itself to all those rumors that Sony could collaborate with Marvel, with Spider-Man, with Peter being such an integral part in the original story. But I really think this is going to be a much different Civil War story, with some of the flavor and nods of the old tale back in 2005, 2006 maybe. I'm not too sure about the dates right now. But, bring it on. I say if this is a streamlined version and much easier to digest, which leads into Infinity Gauntlet with Avengers 3, then by all means, I'm really excited about it. And for all the people wondering if they have enough heroes, I think they do. The Marvel side, aside from the X-Men and Fantastic Four and Spider-Man, the rest of the characters are there. Even Namor, you can add him in because he's a shared property with Universal Pictures. But guys from Ant-Man, Doc Strange, Black Panther, the Inhumans, and all the side characters from Captain America and Hawkeye and Hulk and Iron Man, all the B-listers that each of these heroes carry with them, they can all participate, and it's going to be pretty interesting. Even the Netflix heroes are bound to show up, with Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones participating in this whole Civil War thing, and maybe against Thanos in the Infinity Gauntlet. And don't forget about the Guardians as well, but I don't think they're going to show up in any of these movies until probably Avengers 3 Part 2, if they do indeed split up the movie in 2 parts. Either way, it's a fun time, and we can keep on speculating, but I have other topics to discuss, and we'll keep talking about it later. But yes, I am all up for it, folks. Civil War, bring it on. Next up, actually, it came out like 20 minutes ago as of this recording. DC and Warner Brothers has finally revealed their movie lineup and what they plan on doing for their DC Cinematic Universe. And boy, oh boy, did they start out with a bang. Basically, we're getting like 2 pictures a year from 2016 to 2020. So, folks, get your calendar straightened up and let's plan ahead for the next 6 years of our lives. Because, we're getting everything, folks. A little bit of everything. In 2016, we're getting Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. We already knew that. And here comes the good part. In 2016, we're also getting the Suicide Squad, directed by David Ayer, which there's some rumors that Vixen and, of course, Amanda Waller and Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and a bunch of other characters are going to show up. That's all fantastic. Next up, in 2017, we're getting Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot. And yes, it will be the New 52 origin, which I really prefer over the original one. Sue me, I think what Brian Azzarello did on the Wonder Woman run is spectacular and should be fuel for a movie origin, in my opinion. A contemporary one, folks. Then in 2017, we're getting Justice League Part 1 with everybody from Dawn of Justice coming back for that. And I'm pretty sure in that we're going to get all the rest of the Justice Leaguers from Flash and Green Lantern and all that stuff, which leads into 2018 where we're getting The Flash starring Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller is confirmed as The Flash. I'm sorry, we're not getting CW Flash or Arrow. That's a separate universe. I know it sucks, but at least we're getting a Flash movie, and that's awesome, folks. Next up in 2018, we're getting Aquaman. Finally, Jason Momoa is confirmed as Aquaman, and I couldn't be more pumped. Aquaman is my favorite DC character, and just the fact that we're getting a movie, we've already talked about this back in summer, but yeah, now it's 100% confirmed, and I cannot wait for this. If you mix in like the 90s look with a little Justice League origin from Jin Lee and Jeff Johns, and if you mix a little The Other from the New 52 run with the Trench and all that stuff, I think you'll come up with the perfect recipe for a badass Aquaman movie. So yes, but moving on, because it's not all about Aquaman. Next up, in 2019, we're going to get a Shazam movie, which we already know The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is going to play Black Adam. And in that same year, in summer, we're going to get Justice League Part 2, the continuation. There's some rumors that Brainiac may be the villain, which makes sense considering what happened in Man of Steel. There's this, we're getting in 2020, Cyborg, which is really the shocker here. I did not expect a Cyborg movie with Ray Fisher. Of course, Cyborg's going to appear in Justice League and Dawn of Justice, so Ray's going to get a full-length feature. And by the way, predicting it now, I expect a Nightwing and probably Starfire cameo in the Cyborg movie. There, I said it. And after that, in 2020, we are finally getting a reboot of the Green Lantern series to wash away that bad wasabi aftertaste that was the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds. I'm really excited about that. Hopefully with Green Lantern, we can get somebody, and I'm just guessing here, folks, we can get somebody like Chris Pine. I think he would be an awesome Hal Jordan. I always said Ryan Reynolds looked more like Kyle Rayner and was horribly miscast in that movie. But yeah, for now, that's it. We also know that there's an untitled Batman movie in the works as well, and a follow-up to Man of Steel, the sequel, Man of Steel 2. So, and don't forget about, of course, Sandman, which is, part from the DC movie universe, but it's still part of the DC line with Vertigo and all that stuff. So it's pretty exciting, folks. What do I think about these movies? I don't think they're rushing it. It's still 6 years away, and you can do a whole ton of work. And there's still more stuff to come and more TV shows. And it's really DC's time to blossom. I really don't view this as a competition. Marvel's doing their thing and DC's doing it their style. I admire them for that. And yeah, it's an exciting time, folks. As you can see, 9 more pictures for the DC movie universe. It sucks that we're not getting the CW world, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess. So, that about wraps it up for this episode. And before we go, I promised that we were doing a giveaway. And I just gotta say, I cannot wait until I play Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and I can go in with my favorite starter Pokemon, Feraligatr, and just whoop everybody's ass. Totodile, Croconaw, Feraligatr is my favorite Pokemon, and I cannot wait. And hopefully, if we had a 3rd Gen Mega Evolution on X and Y, and hopefully we can get a Johto Mega Evolution, and it will be Feraligatr. Feraligatr. So, if you want to win the shiny Mega Gengar, brought to you by A Week in Geekdom and GameStop, I guess, and Nintendo and Game Freak, you can, of course, go to our Instagram page, like our picture there, and tag me, A Week in Geekdom, your favorite Pokemon is Feraligatr. So yeah, folks, thank you so much. As we're running out of time, so the item of the week that I recommend, Naruto Shippuden set number 20. I recently got it as of, yesterday, and I've been enjoying that. And if you love Naruto, it's a huge commitment going into volume 20, but if you're already invested in it and you're collecting the series, it's a no-brainer. That's our recommendation for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, you can follow us on your favorite social media platform and write to our email. That's aweekingeekdom@gmail.com. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Feedback, suggestions, and such are more than welcome, folks. Thank you once again, and I will see all of you next week, where we will discuss some interesting topics, and I will probably tell you about some new stuff that's coming up. So, see you next week, folks. For Alligator.